Hello students, in this video I will go through exercise U3A07C where we will be finding or actually applying concepts of centroid of a triangle. Okay, so for each of the figures shown, it says each figure shows a triangle with one or more of its medians. So just to recap the concepts for lesson U3A07C, the intersection of medians, that particular point is where the centroid is located. And as discussed in the lesson, the centroid is actually the center of mass for the triangle. In addition, the centroid breaks up the median into 1/3 to 2/3 partitions. So the centroid will be 1/3 away from the base and 2/3 away from the vertex, from any vertex. So let's take a look at this problem here. It says find BD. So HD is equal to 1.5. If HD is 1.5, then BD, therefore, must be double that. It must be equal to 3. HF is equal to 3.8, and I'm asked to find out what QF is. QF must be half of that. QF, therefore, must equal to 1.9. QE is what I need to find. If IQ is 23.4, IQ is 23.4, I'm asked to find out what QE is. So QE is going to be half of IQ because, like I've said, the partition, this point right here, is the centroid. And the centroid breaks up the median into 1/3 and 2/3 partition. 1/3 of the entire median or 2/3 of the entire median. Or in other words, QE is going to be half of IQ. So if that's the case, what's half of 23.4? So that would be 1.7, 11.7. So QE is 11.7. Find JU if CU is equal to 29.4. So CU is 29.4. JU will be 1/3 of CU. Because again, the 1/3 and 2/3 partition, remember? So it's going to be 1/3 of 29.4. And I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to punch that into the calculator. So 29.4 divided by 3 is 9.8. Question 5. Find HM if MQ is equal to 2. HM is going to be double that. This will be 4. Question 6. Find WB. WB, which is half of AB. AB is 22.6. So WB will be half of 22.6, or it's going to be 11.3. Question 7. Find X if FE is equal to X. FE is equal to X. This whole thing is X. And SE is equal to 2x minus 6. So X will equal to 2 times 2x minus 6. So if I distribute this, I'll end up with 4x minus 12 is equal to x. Subtract x and add 12 on both sides. I end up with 12 is equal to 3x. Divide by 3, x is equal to 4. Since I'm asked to find x, that's it. Find x if RD is equal to 3x plus 2 and RC is equal to 4x minus 1. These are going to be equivalent, so 3x plus 2 is equal to 4x minus 1. Subtract 3x and add 1, I end up with x is equal to 3. Find x if RH is equal to 5x plus 3. So RH is the entire length of the median. EH is going to be 1/3 of the median. So 1/3 of RH will equal to EH. Okay? 1/3 of the entire median will equal to EH. So if I take this and directly substitute in what I know, 1/3 of 5x plus 3 will equal to 2x minus 1. I want to multiply both sides by 3. I end up with 5x plus 3 is equal to 6x minus 3. Subtract 5x and add 3 to both sides, I end up with x is equal to 6. And that's it. Question 10. Find x if fp is equal to x minus 3. fp is x minus 3. So fp is 2/3 of fu. So fp is x minus 3, and this is 2/3 of fu. This is 2x minus 10. And there's no other way of getting around this, but I will have to distribute, and I have to work with fractions here, unfortunately. So bear with me here. I want to distribute the 2/3, and I'll get 4/3 x minus 20/3 is equal to x minus 3. If I subtract 4/3 x from both sides, I'll end up with 1/3 x is equal to, and then if I add 3 to both sides, I'll end up with negative 11/3. X ends up equaling to negative 11. Let me see here. Did I do all that correctly? If x ends up being negative 11, then fp will end up being not a whole number. So I got to go back and I got to check. Let me take a moment here and just to think about this. 2/3 of 2x minus 10. 2x minus 10. 4/3 x minus 20/3. Oh, this should be negative 1/3 x. So therefore this will be positive 11. Okay. So it is always important to go back and check your answer when you think the answer looks a little fishy. Okay? All right. So going back over here, question number 11. HZ is going to be 2/3 of ZY. So therefore, 2x minus 1 is equal to 2/3 of x plus 5 over 2. Notice that the numerator here in 2 and the denominator 2 will cancel. I'm left with x plus 5 over 3 is equal to 2x minus 1. If I multiply both sides by 3, I end up with 6x minus 3 is equal to x plus 5. Subtract x, add 3, I end up with 4x. I'm sorry, I end up with 5x is equal to 8, or x is equal to 8/5. And again, usually these things end up being a whole integer. I'm just going to double check this. Number 11, is it 8/5? Number 11, is it 8/5? Number 11, no, it's not 8/5, it's 6. So where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? 2x minus 1 is 2/3 of x plus 5. Oh, I made a huge error. It's not 2/3. HZ is going to be double ZY. OMG. Remember, this is 2/3 of the whole entire median. This is 1/3 of the median, which means HZ is going to be double that of ZY. So I made a big mistake. So I got to start over. Okay, so HZ is 2x minus 1 is going to be double x plus 5 over 2. Since the 2's on the in the numerator and denominator cancel, I'm left with x plus 5 is equal to 2x minus 1. Subtract x and add 1, I end up with x is equal to 6. And that was the answer from before, right? Okay. Question number 12. UE is equal to 7x minus 3. So UE is going to be 2/3. This time it will be 2/3 of UQ. So UE is 7x minus 3. This is equivalent to 2/3 of 9x. 2/3 of 9, that is 6. Subtract x and add 3. Subtract 6x and add 3. I end up with x is equal to 3. Okay. Question 13. Find WA if WB is equal to x minus 3 halves. WB is x minus 3 halves. WA is x over 2. So x minus 3 halves is equal to x over 2. So if I subtract x over 2 from both sides, I end up with x over 2. Add 3 halves of both sides, and I end up with x over 2 is equal to 3 halves. X will therefore equal to 3. And since x is equal to 3 and I'm asked to find out what WA is equal to 3 halves, or 1.5. Question number 14. YW is what I need to find. GW is 2x minus 10, and so 2x minus 10 is equal to x minus 2. Subtract x and add 10, I end up with x is equal to 8. Since x is equal to 8, I can now find YW. YW is equal to 2 times GY, which is going to equal to 16. I'm sorry, not 16. What am I doing? It's 2 times 8 minus 2, which is equal to 12. Okay? All right. Question number 15. IL is the entire median. So, and PL is going to be 1/3 of the median. 1/3 of IL is equal to PL. So therefore, if that's the case, then I can say 1/3 of 12x over 5 is equal to 3x plus 11 over 5. Notice that 12 and 3, I can reduce that to make 4x over 5 is equal to 3x plus 11 over 5. Because I have the common denominator on both sides, or actually not common denominator, because I'm dividing both sides of the equation by 5, I can just get rid of that and say 4x is equal to 3x plus 11. Subtract 3x, I end up with x is equal to 11. And since x is equal to 11 and I'm asked to find out what PL is, I can then substitute that back in. So 3 times 11 plus 11. 3 times 11 plus 11 over 5. So what is PL equal to? PL is equal to 33 plus 11. That's 44 over 5. Is that the case? Usually it's an integer. Let me double check that. Number 15. So number 15 is 8.8. That is in fact 44 over 5. All right, number 16. Rn is 2/3 of Rk. So if Rn is 2x minus 6 and 2/3 of Rk is negative 5 plus 2x, I will now distribute. Actually, no, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 halves instead. So multiply by 3, I end up with 6x minus 18 is equal to 2 times negative 5 plus 2x. Divide both sides by 2, I end up with 3x minus 9 is equal to negative 5 plus 2x. Subtract 2x from both sides, I end up with, and add 9 from both sides, I end up with x is equal to 4. You may be wondering, how do I know to multiply both sides by 3 over 2? instead of just distributing 2/3? Well, it's because some number sense, right? 2x minus 6 has factors of 2. So therefore, instinctively, right, I know I know to multiply by the 3 halves rather than to distribute. Since x is equal to 4, I didn't finish yet. I need to find out what nk is. Nk, therefore, is equal to 1/3 of rk. So nk is equal to 1/3. What is rk? If x is equal to 4, then rk is equal to 13. Or nk is equal to 13/3. Again, let me just double check that. Number 16. 16 should be 1. Where did I go wrong? So let's see here. Rn is 2/3 of rk. Rn is 2/3 of rk. Yes, that is true. 2x minus 6 is equal to -5 plus 2x. Divide by 2, 3x minus 9 is equal to -5 plus 2x. Yes. X is equal to positive 4. 4. Oh. So rk is not 13. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. Oh. So nk is equal to 1, which was what the answer was. Right? Number 16. Yes. Okay. All right. We're almost there. AV is 5x plus 4 over 10, and AU is 6x plus 1 over 10, so they are actually going to be the same. So I can drop the 10s. 5x plus 4 is equal to 6x plus 1. Subtract 5x and subtract 1 from both sides. I end up with 3 is equal to x, or x is equal to 3. And UV is going to be 2 times AU, right? So AU is 6 times 3 plus 1 is 6 times 3 plus 1 divided by 10. So if I do this, I'll end up with 19/5 is UV. Okay, and the last one here. MH is 2/3 of MW. So x plus 2 is 2/3 of 2x minus 1. This is going to be 4/3 x minus 2/3 x plus 2. I subtract both sides by 4/3 x, I end up with negative 1/3 x. Subtract both sides by 2, I end up with negative 8/3. Multiply both sides by negative 3, I end up with x is equal to 8. And because I'm finding out what MH is equal to 10, because it's 8 plus 2 is 10. And I believe that's it.